Okay. So it's definitely going to be a much quieter stream today. I am fighting a headache, and I'm sorry. But I didn't want to straight up cancel, so we'll do what we can. Alright, so when we left off yesterday, hang on, I'm not gonna have my headphones on today. So if there's any sound alerts, hopefully I don't miss them. I just can't deal with that today. Alright. So we're gonna finish up with our black. I did advance the tutorial just a little bit, so I can get an idea of how much more black we need in here. We need a little bit more than I was thinking, but then again, there's clouds and shit that come in down here that are going to be sitting on top. I technically probably don't have to have this bit in here because the clouds are going to be sitting on top of it, but at the same time, I kind of want to make sure it's all covered in case there are any sections where the black comes through or the background comes through, so that way it's okay. It looks like natural cloud break instead of, oh look, there's background behind there or base felt behind there, just in case. So we're just gonna tap that section on in. And we'll see how things go. We're already under heat advisories for today and tomorrow. Now, I was so disjointed when I was trying to get on here. I wanted to check to see what we were at. So it's 92 with a feels like of 99 at the moment. So we'll have to see what happens there. And see if it gets too much hotter. It probably will as the afternoon drags on, although I'm surprised it's not up in the feels like triples. It might be, maybe the weather station, the new station just didn't update yet. Because whatever weather reporting station that Windows 11 is using was telling me it was 97. When Russell stepped outside, he's like, oh god, it's like an oven out there. Sorry. I've got fuzz on my face, and I don't know why. Might have blown from my fan. We also have the headache hat on today. I have mixed feelings about the headache hat. I don't know if I want a different one. This one just has the gel inserts. I can never find one that stays cold long enough. It feels like they all just turn warm way too soon. So if anybody has any good recommendations for headache hats, let me know. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't go full migraine, but I have a feeling it's going to later. You just start to be able to tell how they feel after a while, and it's like, like, please don't. It's probably to do with the weather and the temperature jumping real high again. Excuse me. But we will see. Alright, so I'm trying to remember to do just the surface tap instead of going full tilt. The surface tap has kept the back not quite as fuzzy. I'm sure it would be less fuzzy if we were actually using roving. Or something that sticks to itself a little bit better. I mean, this works. It does. But I did notice when we were doing the full on stab through that we're having a lot more thin spots. I'm having to come batch a bit more than, 'cause I mean, we still have some stuff coming through. We do. It's gonna happen. Especially with the type of material that we're felting onto. But we'll see. Oh man, I saw somebody on one of our Facebook pages, local, last night. They're like, what do you have to do to join to sell at the clothesline fair, and when is it? And I'm like, you're asking when it is and how to join. Well, the clothesline fair is always Labor Day weekend. The one in September, I always get them confused. Labor Day? Labor Day. Memorial's May. Labor Day weekend. And you have to register like back in April. April or May. Which, you're a little late on that, and if you try to register in July, there's a $50 penalty fee tacked onto your application fee, and I was like, oh damn. And they refuse to accept applications after August 1st, and I'm like, I don't think you're gonna be selling this year there, my friend. I don't think that's gonna happen. And then I saw the application forms. I'm like, let me look at this. Because it's a possibility we might try if I can get enough shit pulled together. Ooh, those are hefty application fees for me. I mean, I'm sure somebody that's running a full-fledged business, they would just, you know, put it under business expense, but oh my. So the application fee is based off of like whether, like what type of site that you're looking for, because not all of the sites have electricity on them. There's a big like circus catering tent. I don't know how else to describe it. It's kind of like a big ass circus tent. Like ginormous. That they put up. Like I guess wedding party size tent. Hey Zorts, how goes it? That's guaranteed electricity. I think that was $175 application fee. I don't know. I'm fighting a headache. I had something that had peanuts on it the other night, and apparently I can't handle peanuts anymore because my system flipped the fuck out, like full on pain, and I was like, oh god, I'm dying. So it's Really? Really? I can't type today. S-H-O-T-R-U-T. Zor. Oh. That's what I did. I double X'd instead of XZ. Right. That'll do it. I'm fighting a headache today, though. Hopefully we don't get full-on migraine. It would be nice. It'll probably end up turning into a full-on migraine, though. So we know Zort's from Wild Challenges, and Zort's does RPGs, he does the wrestling. From time to time he'll do Power Wash Sim. He does a whole mess of things. As time allows over there. So yeah, big circus tent with electricity guaranteed, I think, was $175 application fee. I don't know if you get the money back if they turn you down. That I'm not sure of. Part of me, if we do ever attempt it, would like to be in the tent with the guaranteed electricity so that I can have a fan, because you're outside all weekend, and every weekend it's been hot and sticky and nasty and just miserable, and I'm just like, I want a fan. I'm sure I could get like battery powered fans, but that's a lot of batteries to go through all weekend. If you want to be like out in the lawn section, they call it the lawn. I think that was maybe I'm confused. Was it $200 for the tent and then $175 for the lawn? But then $225 for the lawn and that might what it was. I think the back tent might have been $200 with the guaranteed electricity. Lawn I think was $75. There was like 3 different prices. And then $175, not $375. $175. And then lawn with guaranteed electricity I think was $225. something like that. And if you were selling food, you have to submit your health certificate from the state and shit. Fair enough. I don't know if you get your money back if they deny your application, though. And you have to submit photos of what you make with your application when you send it in. And I'm just like, so you have to print out the photos. Right. I don't have a color printer. And you have to mail the stuff in, it looks like, not email it. Because I believe you have to send the check in with your application fee at the same time. And I'm just like, well, I'm sure we could. Do they still do like the photo kiosks? We used to have a photo kiosk. We could print the photos out somewhere else, but probably be less aggravation just to get a fucking printer that does colors. Then that's more of an expense, and I don't really use a color printer. I don't know. So what was that new game I saw you fucking around with last night? Or at least it looked new to me. I didn't have the chance to stay long because I had a bunch of other shit to do, but I popped in for a minute. Reminded me of something I'd seen when I was growing up, like a movie, but I couldn't place the movie. You finished that, but then you were doing something else. Because it was not that when I popped in. We were supposed to do game night with my mom last night, but both of us were feeling like trash, so we're like, I think we're supposed to do it tonight. I don't know if that's happening. My head hurts an awful lot. And I still have to do dinner. Bach of the Unwritten Tales. Okay, what the hell is that? Because I'd never heard of it before. That must have been what I popped into. Or if I did pop in there one time when you were doing it previously, then I don't remember. Book of Unwritten Tales. I know I was kind of like, what's this? And then something happened and I had to go deal with it. I don't remember what the fuck I was doing last night. I was trying to video edit. I've been trying to tell myself I had to get a live stream session a night done. But last night I just wasn't feeling well and couldn't focus on anything. And I'm just like, yeah, no, it's too hot. Point and click fantasy game. Okay. So how do you like it? I know sometimes us streamers end up doing stuff that we're like, I don't know about this. So good so far? Okay. I had, when I was checking my mail earlier, there was another Kickstarter email update on Coral Islands progress. So they were talking about part 3 of the Ocean Mermaid update, or they broke the update down into 3 parts. And they're still planning on releasing the next bit of content sometime next month, sometime in August. And it's their big diving update. So hopefully that diving quest will be able to move forward with now. And they're also adding a bunch of stuff that wasn't talked about previously, so they're adding a little more life to your farm animals, or realism to your farm animals, where if they're happy and healthy, they will take a nap during the day outside in the field. They're going to make it so that if you aren't taking care of your animals, there's a chance that they'll get sick, or if you're if you don't have a heater in your, or temperature regulator in your barn, or if you're not petting them or all that stuff, there's a chance they can get sick, and then you have to give them medicine. I was like, interesting. You guys didn't mention that before. And there's going to be a couple new machines coming in that I didn't see mentioned previously. So there's going to be an auto trash collector that you can put in certain spots in the ocean, so that would definitely save time and energy. You can just plop that fucker down and then go down and collect it. So then you can turn your trash collection into scrap or compost. There's the compost machine, which we might have to build over the winter in the current map that we are streaming, because we're going to need to do quite a bit of hedges, and I believe we need the compost to make the hedges. Whew, I am not looking forward to this heat this week. We've got straight up base temperatures in the triple digits coming in the next couple of days. Never mind the feels like, and I was just like, oh man, what? No. No thank you. No thank you. And then of course, when I was looking at the forecast for my birthday, thunderstorms leading all the way up to it. I'm like, oh good. Am I gonna be incapacitated by a migraine from the weather? That would be my luck. I don't think we're doing anything for my birthday anyway. We ain't got no money. I don't know what we would even do. I might save the money for the fair. See if there's anything I want to buy. We'll see. August is a tough month, man. Money-wise. My birthday, Russell's birthday, it was my parents' anniversary. There's the Washington County Fair that my mom wants to go to this year. She specifically said she wanted to go see the farm animals, because they do a 4-H thing for the kids. So she wants to go see all of the chickens and the cows and everything. And she's like, well, what do they do after the fair? I'm like, well, sometimes they keep going with them. Or it is a farm thing. You understand what happens with farm animals, right? The food on the table comes from somewhere. Like some of they have a livestock sale at the end of the fair. And then they usually auction off at least some of the pigs or the cattle. And then those kids are able to turn around and put that money back into their 4-H fund. Or they can turn around and use it for school or something. Of course, my mom didn't want to hear that, and I'm like, Mom, you're the one that wanted chickens at one point. She's like, well, I want the chicken in the house. I said, absolutely fucking not. Chicken is not coming in the house. Chicken will be outside, and chicken will be in its coop. And she's like, well, I wanted a chicken, but then I heard somebody told me they draw snakes or something. And I'm like, what? I mean, they would definitely get the foxes' attentions that are around here. And the coyotes, we'd have to make sure that we damn well critter-proof their coop, which would involve attempting to sink in some chicken wire into the ground. And then making sure that we very, very well secure them in at night. Like, chickens are a lot of work. I really don't have the energy for that. Right now, my energy is going to keeping me in one piece as much as possible. Primarily keeping Russell in one piece. And trying to deal with house shit and feeding my mom. She kind of stopped cooking for herself after my dad passed away, and she was like living off of cereal and toast and coffee, and I'm like, no. You're not living off of toast. We've been there. We've done that with Russell. We're not doing that again. I'm sure toast is fine for like a meal, but she was starting to do it for like every meal, and I'm like, no, you're fucking eating. And she gets so mad at me when I give her dinner. She's like, you give me too much food. I'm like, oh my god. It's now a crime to feed you. She's like, I'm gonna tell my doctor on you that you're force feeding me. And I'm like, mother, stop it. I'm not fucking force feeding you. I'm giving you a plate of food and I'm telling you to eat what you can. She's like, well, I can't eat that much because of what's wrong with my stomach. And I'm like, then don't eat all of it. I didn't tell you how to eat all of it. She's like, well, if I want more, I'll come back and get more. I was like, I cook portioned pieces, portioned meals. We pre-portion them and then stick them in the freezer. This is what there is for this meal. Whatever you don't end up taking, I take the rest of it. Sometimes Russell eats with us. Sometimes he eats something else. This is what there is. There might not be more later. What the heck is this? Oh, this looks like Momo fur. Why is there Momo fur up here? Momo dust bunnies. Probably because I've got that fan going now up above me. It's like blowing stuff everywhere. So yeah, she wants to go to the county fair. I don't know why though. That seems like a waste of money. To just look at the farm animals. Because she can't get on any rides. And she's certainly not going for the food. Food's expensive. And I don't know what time we would go. It's not like we have money to throw away on carnival games. But she also wants to go to the clothesline fair. At least that's closer to the house, although we'll probably still have to drive down and pay for parking. Unless Russell drives down and drops her off and then walks back. It kills me to pay for parking when it's literally a minute down the road. But she can't walk that far unless we bundle her up in the wheelchair and just push her down. We could do that. And then she can walk around the booths if she wants to. That's an option. Because there is sidewalk all the way down there now. It just burns my ass to pay for parking when we're literally right here. And then having to deal with the craziness and the mess of the parking lots down there. I don't think we went last year. Did we go last year? I honestly don't remember. I don't remember. I know the one year they didn't have it because of COVID. And then I think the next year they had it, but we didn't want to go because people around here are idiots. So we were given it a little bit more time to settle down. And I think there was talk of going last year, but it might have been too hot. I remember that we saw the parade, and you know what? No, we didn't go last year. We saw the parade go by because our house is on the parade route for it. And it was so short. I'm like, that's it? Apparently they lost a lot of the square dance groups. I guess from people moving out of the area or kids aging out of the program. For the square dance competition. I know they were having trouble finding dancers. And because it's the South and it's a competition, there had to be boy-girl pairing. But it seems like a lot of the groups were having trouble getting boys that wanted to dance. Based off of what I was seeing on Facebook. Because I kind of looked at Russell and I was like, wait, it's over? That parade usually goes on for like 45 minutes. And it was like 20 minutes, and I was like, okay. Less candy that we have to pick up out of the grass. They throw candy from the floats, whether somebody's standing there to pick it up or not. So then after the parade's over, we're out there trying to pick up candy and find where it flung before the ants find it, or it starts to melt and get nasty. And then for like the next 2 weeks, as you're walking along the parade route, you'll see candy wrappers in the grass, you'll see full-on pieces of candy smushed, starburst smushed in the road. Just It's the candy wrappers that piss me off the most, though. I'm just like, really? You couldn't take your trash with you? Really? But also, the city knows they do this parade every year. You would think that the city, at least every so often, knowing that they throw candy and shit off of these floats, would put a trash can out to encourage people to throw their trash. No. Why would we do that? Because then somebody else has to come along and pick up the trash cans. If we had a spare trash can, I would definitely put one out there with the city bags in it and be like, here, trash. Don't leave it in my yard. Fortunately, for the parade, I've got a thin spot right there. I might have to throw a patch on that. Fortunately for the parade, people usually set up across the street because the sidewalk's on that side. There's no sidewalk on our side of the street, so there's not even a shoulder on our side of the street. It's like half the width of a bike lane between our edge of our front yard and the road. Not even a foot wide. So they have more room over there, so let them stay over there. But then the wind blows and then the trash is everywhere. And then you've got everybody bitching on Facebook. Why can't you guys bring a plastic shopping bag to put your trash in? And it's like, I know it's not the town residents that did that. And it's like, what? You know it was the fucking town residents. What people in this town like to do is bitch. Oh my god, the anger. I've never seen such anger about a Taco Bell going in. I swear. I'll tell you. But if it was a Chick-fil-A going in, they would be already lined up waiting to get in the drive-thru, and the building's not even finished yet. Just like, wow. I understand a little bit why they're bitching about the Taco Bell. A little bit. But it's like on the main... Not the main road, but it's on the bypass that goes around the town. But there's also a subdivision right off of this bypass road, and where they're putting the Taco Bell, there's literally two residential houses right next door to it, like to the side of it and to the back of it. So I can kind of understand why those people would be mad. But the entire town is like sharpening pitchforks and readying their torches over that and the McDonald's that might be coming in. I'm like, you all want like improved infrastructure. Well, these guys are gonna pay taxes to be in the city. And this is how we get improved infrastructure. You know what we could do without is quite so many subdivisions, but those subdivisions are allowing the numbers to come in for them to do these things. So I mean, everybody would come into town for like the fairs and the parades and shit, and they're like, oh, I love this small town feel, and then they're like, I want to move here, and then like the real estate market exploded, and I'm like, y'all understand that it's not a small town feel once you start putting all of these subdivisions and all of the things in, right? Like, you get that, right? But then there's so many more people bitching about, oh, people coming in, town can't handle this, and I'm like, really? Okay. Now, he said it was a gray color. It still looks blue to me. I even looked at it before we got started. I'm like, this looks blue. I know he's saying a gray color, but this is like the closest grayest blue that I have. So this is what we're going to go for. So we're going to start to lay in our color now up top here. And we'll see how this goes. It's just wild, but even though everybody's bitching, there's still farmland for sale. There's all kinds of farmland for sale out there in the commercial area. Russell and I are just sitting here like, uh-huh. You bet. Like, we don't really care one way or another. We would like to see some more businesses come in here so we don't have to drive 20-25 minutes away. But at the same time, we're not that invested here. We didn't grow up here. We're not from here. We're just kind of here. I like this headache hat to a point, and then I don't like it. Now it feels much too heavy. Like, as it starts to thaw, I can feel the weight of it. It is kind of awkward. There's a thinner one that I'm thinking about trying. I don't know how much it is though. I gotta look it up. Got fuzz everywhere. Oh, hey, I missed a spot there entirely. I'm like, that's an odd color of fuzz there. My bad. Let's see, can I just fold this? Let's see if we can get that in there. Thought that looked a little interesting. Okay, so let's see how we do here. with our surface tapping. So I definitely wanted to overlap a little bit. So this is what I wasn't sure of, since we were just kind of skating the surface compared to what we had been doing. Would we get any gaps and stuff opening up as we were laying colors in and stuff started to pull the surface stuff in different directions as they were layering? So we'll see. So this is a denim color. It's called denim. And I kind of like it for this because it's kind of got a little bit of lighter blues and maybe a little bit of white running through it to help get that shade going. So as we come in and tap everything together, there's going to be some slight variation to the color. So like over here it's a little bit lighter. And in this section you can kind of see how it's feeding into the dark there. And that kind of felt like the lights just blinked, but I'm not sure if I'm seeing things. I might be seeing things or imagining things. Okay. So I kind of want to lay this in around our moon area. Now remember, we're going for the second line. I changed my mind on how big that was. And I'm just kind of have my finger in there, trying to hold our fiber into place as we are getting it anchored in. Although I've noticed if we try to stick to the surface, it's not all getting pulled in one spot like it had been. So we got that going. Okay. Kind of like this lighter, excuse me. Now I'm losing my voice, great. So kind of like this lighter color on the outer edge. I think that will work in our favor as things continue. So we are using acrylic yarn for anybody that's new here. Sometimes we use roving. I don't have a whole lot of roving though, so it's not the bulk of what we use. But traditionally it's roving or wool or whatever, but it can be done with acrylic yarn. We've proven 7 times over now that you can do it in the majority of acrylic yarn. Okay, so I didn't really know how far I was going to be bringing this outer edge over. That's kind of why we filled the whole thing in with the black there. So again, he kept saying he was going to do a gray color, or the color combo he used was going to make a gray. I still think the way the cameras picked up the lighting that it looked like a bluish gray. But if you are following along too, and you want to do gray instead of a bluish gray, that's fine. This is going to be one of those instances where my colors are going to stray slightly from Bob's color selection. And that's okay. Oh my goodness. So now we're both going to be anxiety-ridden messes until November. Ugh. I mean, I'm glad they moved our date up. I am. Because that's better than waiting till February, but things feel a lot more, this is it. There's a lot riding on this. Kind of thoughts and things swirling around. Though he did, oh shit, that's what he was supposed to do today. He was supposed to call the lawyer. Alright, we'll have to do that tomorrow. I think there's some kind of paperwork he needs to send back that we forgot about. That came, I think, on Saturday. He said he would get to it in a minute, and I just happened to remember that I don't think he ever got to it. But, he did get a letter saying that they were only going to be calling in a vocational expert. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if that really helps you. I mean, you'd have to have some major accommodations made if you could even stand being there. I'm like, he seemed to think it was good. I'm not so sure. I guess we'll find out. Of course, my brain isn't like worst case scenario. Well, we already know what worst case scenario is, so my brain's kind of operating under the assumption that it's going to be worst case scenario. And if it's not, fucking fantastic. But we will see. What the hell was that? thought they'd already picked up the trash. It was something with some squilly ass air brakes. It sounded big and heavy. They've been doing a lot of construction around town. We had this one drainage ditch right down the street from us. It was a steep motherfucking ditch. And I don't know what happened, but I know a couple weeks ago there had been a car accident in the middle of the night or the early morning hours or something. And the power blinked down near where this ditch was. Came back up, then the next day the power was taken down for like an hour, hour and a half while they were dicking around with something. And then it came back up, and now the ditch that was along the edge of the road, there was no guardrail or anything, it was just a drop off, was filled in. They were doing something over there and then it got filled in. It was very strange. Hi Momo, I really feel like trash. Can't you go on your puppy pad right now? Is that a possibility? Momo's here. Giving me that look. He's giving me that look. Can you speak? Can you speak? Hi. Hi. Can you speak? No? Speak. Oof. Speak. You weren't loud enough. Speak. Louder. Speak. Louder speak. No, woof. Woof. No, we need a woof. Speak. Oh, you're using indoor voice today. Speak. You have to potty? You're like, lady, I ain't doing more with nothing. You have to go pee-pee? Why are you staring at me? Do you have to go pee-pee? I think we have to go pee-pee. Normally I would get Russell to get him. Russell's doing the dishes. What time is it? 3 o'clock. Well, you didn't bug me when we got started, so I guess that's something. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to take him potty. So give me 1 minute. Now would be a good time to go and get a snack, go potty yourself, go get a drink or something. I will be right back. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I'm moving a little slow because I'm not feeling well. And then Puppy was like, I'm gonna pee here. No, an inch to the left. No, an inch to the right. Oh, what's this smell? Maybe we'll pee over here. I'm like, buddy, just pee, please. This wasn't supposed to be a 5-hour field trip. But we got there in the end. Okay. So I'm trying to maintain our circular moon here. I touched something that fell. We saw this little sign at the Dollar Tree / Family Dollar, and we had to replace our dish rack, and Russell's like, oh look, it has flamingo on it. He also saw this inflatable flamingo. It's not holding the air very well, but it was also a bitch to inflate. He's like, here, you need this and you need that. Like, I don't have to have all of the flamingo things. But they used this, like, weird, like, iridescent glitter on it. I'm like, you've gotten me so many things, I don't know where to put them all now. We need to put some nails up or something. Nails, screws, something. Sometimes it's easier to put screws in our wall. There's this weird, like, textured plaster on the walls in this room. And sometimes trying to put a nail into it doesn't go well. But for some reason, putting a screw in the wall works better. Went out to the kitchen to, dang it. Put my headache hat back in the freezer, and Russell's like, damn it, Peabut. And I was like, oh, okay. Peabut's been getting into trouble out here, has he? He's been getting into all of the trouble. Especially lately. I heard this weird, like, crinkly noise coming from the direction of the bathroom last night, and I was like, what the hell? And I only heard it the once for a second, and then I kind of wrote it off thinking Cal had been standing on something that was crinkly, because he was near me. I kind of was like, okay, whatever. And then when I went to go in the bathroom, I heard it again while I was in there. I was like, what the fuck? And I turned around and Peabut is on, we have these shelves behind our toilet. Like a standing shelf rack. And we had put parchment paper down on it so stuff wouldn't fall through the wire that was the base of the shelving. In case we set something tiny up there, and he's sitting on this shelving, and I'm like, really? You've crammed yourself in that tiny little hole. And he's like, meow. And I'm like, get out of there. And he's like, meow. I was like, fine, what the fuck ever at this point. I don't think there's anything you can do too much damage to back there. We leave the lid down on the toilet so you can't knock anything into it. Like, good grief. He's been so much trouble lately. Oh, right. So I don't know if Zortz is still here. So for those that missed it, Saturday night, the poor husband was like kind of overheating because it was so hot in here. Even with the house AC on, our room in particular was just baking. So I gave him like this little bucket basin thing and put some water in it so he could put his feet into the ice cold water to cool him down faster, because when he starts to overheat, it's not a good thing. He doesn't handle the heat that well. And was working on getting him cooled down, and that was starting to help him, and he's like, okay, cool. So he started to continue on with his Planet Zoo stream, and then Peabody, out of nowhere, decides, I'm gonna sit on Russell's mouse pad. This cat doesn't normally sit on his mouse pad, doesn't normally try to sit on his mouse pad. It was very odd. And Russell and I were like, what are you doing? And next thing we know, he either nudged it or Russell accidentally nudged it, trying to get P-Butt off of the mouse pad. He nudged his mouse. Somehow the mouse got nudged and fell. It kind of was sitting on Russell's knee, and he was desperately trying to keep it from falling in the bucket of water that was at his feet. And he was trying to grab it. He didn't have the reach to grab it, and it slid down and then hit his other leg, and then kind of like plinkoed its way down on top of his foot that was just barely above the water line, and by the time he managed to flick it out, enough water had just barely touched the mouse, where the mouse was like, nope, I'm done. And then we thought, well, maybe it's just a battery thing, but he's like, oh, it's flashing red, that's probably not a good thing. And I'm like, fucking hell. So thanks to Peabody, we had to go and replace his mouse that night at Walmart. I had 2 emergency wired mice that I've used in the past that I held on to just in case. They weren't completely dead, but they were really mushy in the buttons and felt like they were trying to like double click and shit. They were cheap trash mice that started out good, or at least decent, because I don't like the wireless mice all that much. I have the worst luck with batteries dying at the worst possible time. And of course that's when we don't have any more of those batteries, is when I need one. And so I gave him one of those mice. He goes, oh my god, this is pissing me off already. I was like, yeah, I didn't think it was gonna work that well, but we had to find one of my emergency mice so that he could cut the stream off, because he wasn't sure what the keyboard shortcut was and he didn't feel like experimenting. And after we finally got the stream cut, we just kind of like collapsed in a pile, and we just had to laugh. It was either laugh or cry at that point, and like all we could do was just fucking laugh. It was, ugh, it was a whole thing. Like, really, dude? Really? I was like, you just couldn't help yourself, could you? And then as soon as that kerfluffle ended and we got the stream over with, Peabody's like, okay, my work here is done. And then he bounded off the desk and got back up on top of the crab tank. And Russell and I just looked at each other. We're like, really? All that? That's okay. He got his ass in trouble last night, too. I had, we'd picked up a couple gallons of water to cook with because we were getting low on our other bottled water because it was getting to the end of the month. And We'd picked up a couple gallons to get us through until we can go shopping again. And, 'cause we're not comfortable using the tap water here. A lot of people do. We're not so keen on that. A lot of times when there is a problem, you don't find out about it till like 2 or 3 months after the fact around here. They're like, oh, there was a bacteria spike here on this date. We got the testing back here, but because we thought there was something going on before the testing came back, we just dumped some more chemicals in, and the testing came back saying it was still within safe parameters, so you were fine. And we look at the date of when this testing was done, it was like August and it's October, and I'm like, we're just getting this letter now? Really? And you can tell some days that something wasn't right because suddenly the chlorine smell in the water is like tenfold, and I'm like, oh god, it's like you're at a hotel pool, like a hotel indoor pool, you know, when you walk in and the chlorine just like hits you in the face. At least I think that's what's in that envelope. That's the only thing I remember you saying anything about.
Feels about the right weight.
It felt like it was the right shape. Sorry, something was outside when I went to take Momo potty, and I was like, what the hell? And I remembered it was the stuff we'd gotten for the dog. And you're sure that's the same stuff that Suzu got?
Yes. It's the same stuff I bought last time when he got like that.
Oh, I didn't know you bought it outside of the vet. I thought you got it.
I bought from Amazon because I realized we didn't need to see the vet and pay, better part of $100 to get an over-the-counter dog thing.
Oh, I thought you had gotten it from the vet last time.
In fact, if I remember correctly, they told me I could just pick it up over the counter.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so then last night, I had opened one of these gallons of water to cook with. I didn't need a whole lot, so there was still like 3/4 of the gallon left in the thing. I put the lid back on it, and I put it on this one table we had in the other room, near where our other bulk supplies are, and okay, I'll set this here, it's out of the way. At some point last evening, we heard a thud. And I said to the husband, what was that? And he goes, oh, it was P-Butt fucking around with something. I was like, okay. And I let it go. And I didn't get up to check it. An hour or so later, I got up to go out into the kitchen to get something. A drink or a snack or something. And there's a gallon of water laying on its side on our dining room rug. And I'm standing there looking at it, I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Because the way it was laying, and it was dark out there, so I didn't have the light on, it looked like it had been an empty container, and I'm like, huh? And then I tapped it with my foot and water sloshed in it, and I'm like, no! And I quick threw the light on, and yeah, the fucker knocked the 3/4 full gallon of water off the table because he wanted to sit there where it was sitting. And over half of what was left in it got sloshed all over the floor. I was like, dude, no. Just no. So then that water became designated animal bowl water. And I'm just like, really? Because it had been sitting open, laying sideways on the floor for who knows how long. And then we had to grab a puppy pad to try to sop up all of the water. that after putting the light on, we could see the ring of water and how far it had dispersed around the container. I was just like, God damn it. I was like, this is why we can't have nice things, cat. And it was bad enough earlier in the day. He was fucking around on that table, and I had a box of freezer pops. You know, from when we were little, the things in the plastic that you throw in the freezer, and then you snip the end of it off. We got like a box of like 300 or something at Sam's back in the end of May, I think, that I've been slowly working my way through. He found that box on that table and was trying to climb into the box. And I'm like, get your fucking furry ass out of that box. You're gonna end up popping all of those freezer pop sleeves. And then you are gonna be a sticky fucking mess, covered in sugar water, and there's no way you're gonna let me give you a bath because you're a dick. So we got him out of there, but he still kept trying to go back to it. I think we had to bury the box or something again. It's just like, sir, can we not? He's just been in so much trouble. And full moon's coming. I don't know if it's tonight or not, but it looked pretty damn full last night. Might also be the source of the headache. Husband's got one too, so. Once in a while, he'll get a migraine with the aura. Or at least we think that's what it was. I don't get those, thank God. I have not gotten one where it's affected my vision to that degree. I only seem to get the ones that, you know, the standard pain in the ass sensitivity to light, sound, smells. Can't eat. After a certain point. Sometimes I can work through them to a degree before they get real bad, and then other times it's just like, oh no, we missed the window of opportunity. Is anyone still at the law firm for the day?
Who?
Is anyone still at the law firm for the day?
I have no idea why.
You were supposed to call them.
Oh, I've just got to nail that thing in.
I thought you had to talk to them to make sure that they got that paperwork about the date.
I'm going to double check, but like that was before I got this paperwork. This paperwork actually gave me a date.
Yeah, no, I thought you were going to double check with them that they got the same thing.
No, I'm sure they got it.
We do have to get that other thing in the mail tomorrow, though.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, so our circle's a little lopsided. I'm not quite on the inner ring edge that I want it to be, but that's alright. We'll make it work. So we're getting our color worked in here. And I think this is gonna be a pretty good one. We'll see if we can keep it together as we work further down. But this is definitely going to be an interesting one, to say the least. I think that mouse clicks quieter than the other one did.
Huh? Oh, maybe.
I
The
feel
old
like
one was very old.
I feel like I could hear your other mouse more than this one. I could be mistaken. Ended up picking up a Steel Series one. They didn't have a whole lot of options. But we certainly weren't going to buy an expensive Razer mouse. We've not had good luck with Razer products.
What did we use that's Razer?
I had gotten you a color changing keyboard at one point and mouse combo, I think, and the slightest little bit of water got on the keyboard and killed
to
it.
be fair, I did spill a fuck ton of water on it.
Oh, it was a lot?
Yeah, but it was also supposed to be water resistant.
Yeah, and it died. I think he had it like a day before there was an accident, and I'm like, God damn it, that thing was like $100, and at the time that was a lot of money for us, and I was like, shit. I wasn't happy that something that I spent that much money on died in the blink of an eye, and I was like, really? As good as it was supposed to be rated, and then like, wow. So I'd rather not spend the money on Razer if I can help it. But they did have a similar PC to the one I'm using. It wasn't the same one now that I'm looking at it. That one had the fans were placed in different spots, so it was probably a step below what I had because it was also half the price. Maybe not quite half, but it wasn't the same price either, so. Oh, excuse me. It's the same company. Can't tell. Yeah, I think I'll have to put a little bit more right in there, because it looks like right here I've got a little bit of the gray kind of showing through there, just on the edge. But hey, we got the black all finished up today. So that's progress, and we started to get our blue color put in here. And I had advanced the tutorial before we got started just so I could kind of see the shape and stuff of what we had to work with. Yes, I mean we still have a little bit coming through. Not as heavy though. Not as heavy. So maybe this trying to surface tap will work out a little bit better for us here. We will see. Now we still have some more black that we have to add in down here. Down in this section, but we'll kind of get there when we get there. I didn't want to get too carried away. I wanted to work on this upper section first. There's a couple of reference points down there I don't want to lose just yet. Okay. Fuzz keeps sticking everywhere but where I want it to be. Alright. So, let's see about getting this guy. Start to lay him in down here. So how did everybody's weekend go? Everybody have a good one? What did everybody do this weekend? We didn't really do much over here. We tried to stream. We tried to get our shit together to stream. Sort of worked. Sort of. Kind of, sort of. Okay. have the larger pieces, they do take a few extra minutes just to make sure that they are good and attached. Sorry, I wasn't sure if that was a gap in there, or if that was just the way the color was starting to take shape in there. Does that stuff need to be refrigerated?
No.
No. I wasn't real sure about that particular spot. That should be okay. What's left of my burn. I wonder if that's going to be there forever. I swear you can't take me anywhere. Leave me unsupervised. Any period of time. Alright, so we get this guy. I know this guy is starting to get a little bit close over here. But they are pretty close on bobs, so I'm not gonna fret too much. And actually, as we're tapping this in, it's kind of shrinking back down a little bit, so we'll be okay. Or at the very least, I'm thinking we'll be okay. Right. So we'll get this worked into here. We only have a little bit more blue in this spot to go. I am noticing that doing the surface tapping stuff, I do have a little bit more fuzz on the surface. It seems. Doesn't look as much like carpet. I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. We will see. So apparently Pee Wee Herman died. Or the guy that played Pee Wee Herman. What was his name again?
Paul Rubin.
Paul Rubin. Saw that headline when I got up. I personally wasn't a big Pee Wee Herman fan, but it was still an icon from when we were growing up. So that's still kind of sad. But he was 70, so good for him, I guess. Okay. Almost. We almost have this part filled in here. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's just shortening his nose.
I guess Mommy's taking potty wasn't quite satisfactory. Oh.
I know.
That was so sad.
I know, you just gotta give me a minute.
That was so sad, Moses. What was up with that noise? Hi. Hi, Moses. Hi. Are you just looking for attentions?
No, it's never just attention.
The other night it was. That might have been what it was when I popped into Zort's stream. Momo came over. And he'd been out not that long ago. And we sat down. And he hopped back in his bed and we did commies and scratches for a little bit, and then that seemed to appease him. Huh. Sorry. Doing this one-handed. Huh, Moses. Alright. Stick that in there for right now. No. Hi. Oh my goodness. Can you speak now? Look, you got dried grass on your face. Come here, let me see your face. Hi. Can I get it? No, it's stuck in your fur. You're a mess. You're a mess. You're a mess, Mr. Moose. Yes. Mr. Moose is over. Alright, so we're gonna grab the white next. And get this kind of fluffed up here. Okay, so this might take a little extra fuss in here. I want to try to make sure that we are sort of circular. And I don't really want to end up with a square moon. Well, that would definitely be an artistic statement. I'm sure. Let's see, where... Don't want a huge moon either, trying to fix any fuck-ups. We could have also just, did a ring around the outside and then filled in the center. That probably would have been the smarter thing to do. Probably. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to come back in and fix this guy. We'll see how circular we can get this. Did he pee?
No.
this side. So our moon's going to be a little misshapen. At least that's what it's starting to look like. Not too badly though. Just a little bit. I mean, if we really wanted to be 100% dead on circular, there's stencils that you can get that have like the different circle sizes on them. I have thought about getting those. But then again, my cheap ass is like, that's an awful lot of money just for some circles, but at the same point, it would probably make this go a little bit faster. As we start to tap down our fluff here. Now I'm not going to leave it this raised up. That is definitely a dome at the moment. If you want yours raised up, that's fine. And the clouds we might leave a little bit raised, maybe. Just not exactly what I'm going for at this stage. You know, that is an option if you know you're doing a field or something and you're putting sheep in, or maybe you're doing a tree and you really want the texture. Of the bark to really come through. That is an option. I'm going super slow with this guy. Because I did have a little bit more fluff than I probably needed for him. Okay. So we didn't get a shit ton done today. Sorry, I saw this piece of fuzz I wanted to tackle there real quick. But we did get a little bit done. We got our black all filled in up top here where it's gonna go. We got our blue grayish area around the moon put in. And we got our moon put in. Or at least we'll have it fully put in here in a minute. So it's not too misshapen. It's a little wobbly on this side. But it's not too bad. Sorry, I can hear the husband doing something and I don't know what the fuck he's doing. All I know is that he's out in the kitchen. Like that section actually looks a little bit gray. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe the pen from the drawing that we did, or maybe it pulled in a little bit of our matte color. Well, that one we did do a little bit deeper than just the surface because it was so fluffy. But yeah, that's not too bad. It's somewhat circular. And I think that's a good spot to pause in today. So next Sunday when we pick this guy back up, we'll start to put in our colors around our lighthouse area. And then we'll go from there, because there's a lot more cloud and stuff happening over here. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that's looking so far. And we'll see how things continue to progress with this one. I'm still excited about this one. I think this is going to be a good one to needle felt. I mean, a lot of them aren't bad to needle felt, but I think this one with its bold colors and stuff. Now, it might get a little wild down here. We'll see how that goes. I don't always manage to pull off the waves so great, but we'll see. It's been a while since the last time we did waves. So I think that's where we're going to end things today. So you guys, don't forget to follow the socially things down below. If you liked today's stream, don't forget to put a follow on there. It's free to follow. And if you turn your notifications on over here, then you're more likely to be notified when I go live. I also have an auto tweet set up, but you know, in case Twitter decides to close up shop completely, at least if you have the notifications turned on here, you'll find out some way of knowing when we've gone live. So, next scheduled stream will be Thursday when we take a look at Coral Island. I don't know if I'm doing any non-scheduled this week. A, it depends on how I'm feeling, and B, if I've gotten any chores done. I do need to get some painting done this week, I think. Don't know if we'll be doing that on stream or not. I want to do a test needle felt piece too, so there is a chance we might work on that. But we'll see. So you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I hope it passes quickly for you. And I hope everything goes well. And I will see you all on Thursday for sure. So until next time, have a good one.